Hello and welcome to yet another Arsenal podcast. I am Mark and I am here once again with Anfield 89 veteran Richard. How you doing, Rich?
I'm very good. Very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good as well. Good to hear it. Do you know what? I made a mistake during the Bournemouth game. I allowed myself to enjoy it for about 3 minutes.
I told you we will not be able to enjoy another game until there's euphoria or crushing sadness.
But I have enjoyed some games. I've enjoyed most of the Spurs game, although the Richarlison goal gave me put the wind up me. I enjoyed the Villa game. Didn't enjoy the first half very much, but I definitely was able to sit down and relax throughout most of the second half. So that was good. And then abject terror through Wolves and Brighton and the Palace League Cup game. And again, I allowed myself to relax a little bit. And no sooner as I'd done that, it was back to sheer terror again. But I guess we'll get into this. But that's my overall vibe. I just want to say, I'm watching these games in a state of sheer and utter terror.
And I might have a theory on why, but we'll get to that as we go.
Okay. We'll have a theory section. I've got my own little theory as well that I'd like to test out with you and the audience. So let's see how we get on. But so the team news came out. We had Rice back in the team. That always makes me feel a lot better, I won't lie. And also Madueke and Martinelli came into the team. What do you think about that?
I liked it. We can't sit here and complain the squad's not big enough and then piss your pants when you start using the squad. It doesn't work. Obviously, there aren't many replacements in world football that can replace Saka like for like, but you need to manage his minutes. And obviously, giving him that time off is invaluable moving forward. I was really pleased. I was quite comfortable.
Okay, and what did you feel going into the game? Bournemouth away, Premier League games have always got the ability to be a bit of a nightmare, so you can't take any of them lightly. But on the other hand, Bournemouth have had a bit of a dodgy run recently. That said, a lot of draws in there. They haven't lost a lot of games.
They're good at home. Their home record's very, very good. It's always going to be tough going there. We always seem to... I mean, especially last season, they took 6 points off us. It's always a worry, but then every game is a worry now on some level.
I don't want it to be a worry. I haven't got the stamina for this. Like 4 years on the spin. That's the problem with not getting it over the line over the last few years, is that you've basically had 3 years and now 3.5 years of abject terror watching every single game from behind the sofa without any of the payoff for it, where you'd be able to comfort yourself if they'd won 1 or 2 of them.
We're a different animal now, though. We're a different animal.
We are different. I agree with that. But until.
Yeah.
And so the game started, and how did you feel in the first 5 or 10 minutes?
I mean, I've got, looking at what I wrote, it was a high tempo start. We started at a really high tempo, which, as for your nerves, it's not good. But then I like it when teams do that, because you think they're going to have a go, which for me, I feel like it's going to open up more space for us in an attacking sense. So I'd rather teams come at us than sit back in a low block.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I actually felt quite comfortable, even though Bournemouth obviously started very well. The high press, the aggressive tactics. But I felt that we were dealing with that, even though they had a couple of corners. I trust us to defend corners. It's on the break, I always feel that we are most vulnerable. But once we get back into position, I relax a little bit. I think the structure that they put in is super, super defensive, like from a positive point of view. And that's why we give up so few chances, is that when we do give up the ball, and when you're playing a high-risk game, you'll do that every now and then, they get back into position so quickly, and that defensive shape is so solid that our opposition teams, when they're on top, do have the ball, but they don't create a lot of chances. And even though corners can be a chance, I felt the same here. And I kind of thought, well, we'll just ride out this storm and probably go up the other end and go 1-0 up. That is what I felt at the time.
I agree. No, I agree with all of that. Especially when, even though they're playing at a high tempo, they're trying to impose their dominance on us. When you've got future Ballon d'Or winner, big Declan Rice, just moving around that pitch like he does, putting out fires. It's just our defensive solidity. It seems like they are trained, no matter where the opposition are breaking from or have the ball. Everyone from back to front knows the position they need to be in. They're that well drilled. Teams are going to have opportunities. That's the nature of the beast. That is football. But I wasn't too worried at that point.
No, I wasn't either. And you talk about those details and how on it the team is, rather. This is a totally innocuous situation, but I think does reflect it quite well, is that Zubimendi dropped back into the back four to make it a back five, slightly to like in between Hincapié and Gabriel, and won the header. He landed exactly where he was. And I think Arteta was also telling him to get back take an extra step back. And that is where the ball landed. It is an incredible attention to detail that this team has. And a lot of it goes unnoticed, I think. But in that moment, it just struck me that one of our midfielders dropped back into a specific place. Arteta was pointing at him to do that, and it went exactly where he was standing. And that is what I think that is maybe a difference this year. Maybe I'm noticing it, who knows? But I think a player of that intelligence, the squad has grown up together as well. And that is why we're 6 points clear at the moment. And
I put in the game, Zubimendi is such an amazing safety valve for that back four if teams are breaking. Because we always talk, as I love to do, talk about Declan Rice. He's less bombastic than Zubimendi. Zubimendi is less bombastic. He's not the athlete that Rice is. No. But what he does on and off that ball is absolutely phenomenal.
No, it doesn't get me questioning my preferences the way that Declan Rice does when he gets the ball and strides forwards in the 85th minute. It's one of my favourite sights in the world. Let alone
he just eats up ground. He just eats up ground.
Striding majestically across the plain, like owning it. But you're right, Zubimendi, no less of a contribution, but just different as well. I know that you're a keen observer of the haircut. What do you think of Declan Rice's hair during that? Because he did say that he had done a lot to try and be ready for the Villa game and wasn't ready, and had done a lot to get to. I don't know what that means when you got a swollen knee, doing a lot. He obviously had foregone a trip to the barbers. Because that booth is getting a bit fluffy.
I like it. I'm a big fan. I want to see the end product. I do. I want to see there on Upper Street, lifting that trophy, little ponytail. Little ponytail. That'd be lovely. That would be delightful.
I think that's asking a lot between now and May to get no matter. I mean, it obviously grows quickly. That is asking too much of even his powers of recovery.
I mean, when he said he was doing a lot to get ready, I imagine it wasn't sitting on the couch with a pack of peas. I imagine there's a whole process that he.
I wonder how far away it is from that, though. I mean, I'm sure ice is involved.
Ice. I mean, I don't know what. I have back in my playing days, I suffered from a knee injury, a couple of knee injuries, and most of it was heat. And then ice, but I'm sure things have moved on in 25 odd years.
I bet they haven't. I bet it's more or less the same as that, but just more expensive.
And then 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and for all our chat about defensive solidity and our what can only be described as a complete balls up. On the scale of I don't even know what he was trying to do you?
It was...
Because he sort of muffed the pass as well. Like I don't know.
It wasn't a clean hit. It wasn't a clean
But what was he trying to do? Do you think he, out the corner of his eye, just saw someone, thought it was Saliba, and then went to sweep it, and midway through that thought, oh shit, no, it's not?
I think he was trying to sweep it further. I genuinely think that we were switching the ball a lot during the game. I think he was trying to switch it to Timber, and I think he's completely mishit the pass. I mean, even to the point where their centre forward's just gone. He looked shocked when it came to him. He was like,
yeah,
not it took him a second to compose himself. No.
Well, I even when he got the ball, I did even think, I thought, oh shit, we're in trouble here. But I believed in Raya that may be able to make the save. What I hadn't realised was quite how out of his goal he was. He was basically by the corner flag when Gabriel had the ball, and that gave him far too much to do. But, you know, I quite liked the reaction of everyone. You know, he didn't, as far as I'm aware, put his shirt over his head and make a big deal out of it, right? Which I'm pleased at. I mean, obviously, he knew he'd fucked it up, and it was like, oh, shit. But it wasn't There was no histrionics. Saliba went over there and patted him on the back. And I think, given his contribution over the last 5 years, I think that was the right thing. All right, you can fuck up once every 5 years, because he used to have a bit of a ricket in him when he first came like that. And in the Amazon documentary, Arteta was going on about it's not about the mistake, it's how you respond to it. And I think the whole team responded to that like shit, but then they got on with it straight away.
It was a momentary thing. We looked composed after conceding, and that's so different to previous years. I know that's when we would really step the tempo up, which in one way is a good thing, but in lieu of your shape, the shape you're planning to play with, where there didn't seem to be any hedge drop, there didn't seem to be any panic. It was like, right, okay, we've just given ourselves something extra to.
Yeah, I felt really good about in the moment, even though as good as you can be when you've just gone 1-0.
And the crowd straight away singing the Gabby song.
Yeah,
they got behind him. I think everybody knew, right, okay, so we're going to need 2 now at least.
Yeah, we did. And Madueke, he definitely offers something different to Saka. I don't think he's as good defensively. His end product is nowhere near as developed yet. Let's be optimistic and say, but he's more direct, he's more skillful, and I think is, I don't know, I almost said like better at beating a man. Maybe, I don't know if that's true or not, but he seems more skillful and better at running at pace. I mean, Saka can go inside and outside anyway. I'm not disparaging by any means, but
it's a different way. It's a different way of doing it. He will beat a man with pace. He's a speedster, and he will get that ball every time, and that man is being taken on. And fullbacks hate that. Yeah. And it's nice to have, it's a pick your poison with the two. As we say, Saka can go both ways. They're both effective in different ways. But I like how positive he was. And also, I think he looked better defensively. We know, listen, we don't, did you not? I thought he looked, I'm not saying he was Martinelli levels, but I thought, even okay, so he was trying to be better defensively. Where
I agree with that. That's what I felt actually.
Yeah,
like, bless him. Look, he knows he's got to be somewhere around, but he's not entirely sure what to do or whether that's the right thing. But that's something that hopefully will come. We forget.
It's a learning process.
I know this is an old cliche. Like you forget how young some of these players. He's not an experienced, like long in the tooth player by any means. I know he's had game time at Chelsea and he's getting the minutes here as well. But again, a couple of months into a pretty disciplined squad, and I think he got chewed out actually at the end of the Villa game by Heinze maybe, or one of the coaching staff probably bollocked him. And I did notice it at Villa as well. I thought, look at him.
You don't fancy getting chewed out by Heinze, do you?
No, I mean, let's talk about him for a moment, because that seemed a strange appointment. Mainly because of his Man United connections. He's an utter lunatic, isn't he?
I love it. I would hate to play under him because he'd put the fear of God. But the man's a raving nutcase.
I like a bit of crazy in my support staff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, don't we need to dial down the crazy? Because I think Arteta, like Albert, he seems very cool and composed. A nice foil for Arteta, who's got like intense crazy. But I'd say he seems to have crazy.
From what you see from on the social medias, he's built a really good rapport with the players, and in a weird way, I think yes, he's crazy, and so is Arteta in very different ways. But he seems to be a good link between Arteta and the players.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
In a very intense, scary way.
I'd love to know what it's like at training, like the intensity of Arteta and the lunacy.
You'd just be exhausted, wouldn't you?
I bet Albert's got his eye roll down to a T. What are they like?
As looking over to him, you're gonna help me out here.
So talking about Madueke, he had a chance that he fashioned for himself. Inside, I think it was Don Goodman on the COCOM said that he should have passed it into the net. I don't think there was the space for that. It was a player sliding in.
Don't talk to me about fucking. Don't want any. I don't want anything.
So he's like Andy Hinchcliffe, a sort of jobbing journeyman, average style footballer from ages and ages ago, who seems to have the highest standards in the world. Andy Townsend, he's another one. You know, pretty half decent Premier League player.
Yeah.
Not dead, but what he should have done there, and he's got.
Don Goodman, you played. You played for Wolves in the old second division. You tell Madueke in England International what to do.
Yeah, I know.
And his comments like
there.
It was so one-eyed. I mean, when he said, "Oh, the whole whole of the country were hoping for that to go in when Bournemouth scored," were they?
Yeah. Well, they definitely mentioned East Manchester, which I've got a degree of sympathy with. I'm sure the 12 people who watch them on a regular basis were quite pleased with it. And also Aston Villa. You know, when your rivals... I'll tell you something. When Chelsea scored the other night against Man City, I've got absolutely no shame saying I cheered that.
So did I.
Off the seat, punch in the air. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really felt it. I don't care if it was Chelsea, it was Enzo Fernandez. I'm admitting it, and I'm not even going red when I'm doing it. I'm proud.
Yeah. Anything that wins us the league, I do not care.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. But it didn't take long until we were on level terms, and it was almost inevitable that it was going to be, wasn't it? I just felt that. I thought, I bet he scores an equaliser. I bet he does.
But you didn't expect him to score like that, though, did you?
No, left-footed. I mean, again, Madueke coming in, beating players, causing absolute chaos. There was a couple of swipes in there, which it was so important, I think, for him to, his celebration was like, right, I'm level now. It wasn't one of a goal scorer. But without that finish, it may have given you the impression, it's just not going to be our day today, even at that early stage when you have like the ball dropping in the middle on the edge of the 6-yard box and 2 professional footballers can't even make contact with it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. But then a third came along and it was third time luck and he absolutely rife. At the moment, I didn't realise quite how accurate that volley, or I don't know if it was a volley, half volley or what, but it definitely needed a bit of accuracy on it. There wasn't a lot to aim at.
No, and it was a difficult height. It was a difficult height, and it was coming across, and it's a hell of a technique for any footballer, let alone your big 6'4" centre half to pull off. But then you forget his nature of birth, and they've been doing that since they were about 6 months old, haven't they? It's just bread and butter. Apart from the one we get on the left wing, who can put those over the bar, bless him.
Yeah, I know they're top level professionals, but I'm still even impressed, like the accuracy. Because if you look at the goal that we gave away, he got it, and that was a relatively easy chance for a professional footballer. But if he'd have hit that like a foot into the centre of the goal, Ray would have saved it. But he managed to get... And the same with Zubimendi's goal against Aston Villa. He went running through. He had a simple finish, but he had to lift it a little bit over the goalie's leg, and he did.
And he had to move his feet as well. He had to shuffle from the left to the right just quickly, and still... I'd have done what Hincapié did against Villa. I'd have fallen over at that point. That's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah. It's not the greatest insight in the world that Premier League players are good at football, but
they are.
But they are, and I didn't really feel under any threat for the rest of the half. I felt we were in control, maybe overplaying it a little bit.
He got a little bit scrappy toward about the half-hour mark.
Yeah, I thought they were pressing Zubimendi really well, and he wasn't having, I didn't think, his greatest game. But if you look at the numbers in terms of clearances and interceptions, he was they're right up there. But I felt he was under a lot of pressure, wasn't doing a great job with it. Not to criticise him. I mean, I think but when you're going level at half-time away to a team playing like that, I'm always feeling good because I think there's no way they're going to keep up that intensity for the second half. But I just want to mention about the end of the second half because it is relevant to the end of the game and, the storm in a teacup that came through that. So there was 2 minutes added on at the end of that game, at the end of the half. And the referee blew up when we had the ball on the edge of their box. Now, did you think anything of it at the time?
No, I did. Didn't register.
I did. I was because I was annoyed with Odegaard for not just getting it in. I thought there's 2 minutes left and you're trying to find the perfect angle. Like, there's literally seconds left in the half. Just get it in there. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Like, dicking about with it, like trying to get the perfect angle. And then the ref blew up because it was the end of the half, Bournemouth.
I know. And the thing is, from my opinion, Chris Kavanagh, that was an awful performance. I agree. He was reffed by the crowd.
He was reffed by the crowd. There was a free kick over on the other side. I thought the crowd's given that.
Right? Yeah. Towards the end of the game.
I don't think he was great towards either team. Actually, there was some very strange decisions that I thought he gave.
When you see Gabriel Jesus get pulled down by his ankle and nothing given, I don't care how close the linesman is. Surely both of them would have been able to see that.
It was an incredible, and it was one of those classically infuriating refereeing moments where he lets that go. A literal rugby tackle where you hold him onto his leg, and 2 seconds later gives a foul to them for something totally innocuous.
I know, but it is mind blowing.
It's not peculiar to him as a ref, because you see it all the time where a player gets obviously fouled, is annoyed, runs back, does pretty much the same thing, and gets pulled up. And then the aggro. I mean, when I'm not on the rough end of it, I think it's hilarious. But
he's a poor referee in my book. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Chris Kavanagh.
No, I think he's terrible. But I think terrible for both teams in this game. So that was the end of the half. Gyökeres didn't have much of the ball, did he?
No. It's a bit like when people were making, in the death throes of Mesut Ozil, when people were saying, oh, he needs this player next to him, he needs that player next to him. So many things need... like a Goldilocks. It's a Goldilocks situation. Oh, that wasn't right. And there's a lot of stats out there saying he's pinning defenders back. And I'm sure he is. But for me, strikers need more than about 6 or 7 touches per game. They need to win at least half their headers, especially when you're built like he is. And we know his passing's not great, and that's not going to change. But I'd like to see him get some shots off.
Yeah, but he's not. Why isn't he doing that? Now, the pictures going around on social media are the theory of Victor Gyökeres and his gravity pull that he has. And to be fair to him, he was put through and he had half the Bournemouth team round him. He did. How is he meant to have a shot or get shot off when he got 5 players around you?
Yeah, no, that's fair. But that's one occasion.
Yeah, but it led to a goal for us. That's
it did. No, it did.
So here's my question then. What is it about opposition teams who are so scared of former Coventry and Swansea striker Gyökeres that they basically dedicate half the team to not letting him have a chance? Like, not even a chance.
YouTube's a...
Surely. But that is what is happening, isn't it? Is that what's happening? He's being targeted by opposition teams, smother him. Absolutely smother him. But why? That's what I wonder. He hasn't shown anything in England that he requires that level of attention. But half the team were around him. It came back to Odegaard. He gave it to Rice. He just swept it in the net because they were all over the place.
Yeah.
He had it. So I'm the same as you. I mean, we're getting used to a player who's unlike any player I think we've had in 25 years. Like maybe the whole... Like, can you remember a player like him?
I can. Oh, Lucas Perez.
Yeah, but not these...
I'm joking. No, I know what you mean. All these teams seem to be planning for him, but we can't work out why. It's a strange situation.
Is that what is happening though, or are we completely deluded?
I'm
looking for silver linings because he's not had the impact that we would have hoped so far. He's obviously trying very hard, and that gets you a long way in my book. But why? And so, is it the case that opposition teams are smothering him, and that is why Trossard, Jesus, Saka, Odegaard, and Rice have all scored goals from outside the box because they've got loads of time?
Could be.
Scored a hat trick.
It could well be
from him, and they're just so concentrated on him that it opens up loads of other space. Is that what is happening, or am I way off?
It could well be. I mean, we haven't played with a traditional number 9 for many years. We've always had we've had our strikers dropping deep and picking it up. I just don't think we're used to having someone up there playing the way he does. Obviously, we want him to score more goals. I would like to look at it over the season and get a bit more of a demo because he's had a bit of time out with his injury. I'd like a bit more of a bit more evidence before I can really put my finger on what I think is going on.
Yeah, I know. It is a mystery. It is a mystery because individually his contribution seems below par, but the players obviously like him. Do they? I don't know. They don't. Like Declan Rice was saying the right things. They don't want to pass to him.
No. No, sometimes he does get in positions and the pass isn't there or isn't quite right, or is he not in the right? It's we're not in a position to know the answers to that. But I think it's going to take until the end of the season for me to form a full opinion on him.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand. And, Havertz is getting better by the week.
Havertz is getting better by the week and somehow further away from first team action.
Yeah. Well, he must be playing in the cup games. At least one of the cup games we've got to see.
Are you mad? Are you going to put him out against them nutcases?
Oh, well, Portsmouth.
Portsmouth. Sorry, I'm already thinking about the Chelsea games. I'm like, they will be kicking. Did you see what they did to City the other night? I mean, that Evan Ferguson is nothing but a thug.
Evan Ferguson? Who's
Evan Ferguson?
You mean Delap?
Delap, him, both a pair of clowns.
They are out the same box, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
Slightly pasty. Are they any good? Are they not?
Yeah. But all Delap does is put himself about. I mean, he slammed one of the, which I think should be outlawed, should be an instant yellow card at least. I mean, we had our young lad, the boy from the ex-Arsenal youngster, I don't exactly know, but slammed into the concrete wall at Wingate and Finchley and died.
Yeah.
We had, was it Debussy? Debussy got pushed by Maupay and we lost him for God knows.
Ibrahimovic, I think. Not Ibrahimovic, Arnautovic.
Arnautovic, that's it. Yeah. Again, Maupay and him, same shit, different box, isn't it? And then he does that. I think he's out for a few weeks now. Pushed him into the advertising hoardings, and it's got to be. You can't be giving players a nudge.
No.
I'm quite wary about the Chelsea games purely from an injury perspective from us, because they just seem to be going round kicking people at them. Hopefully now Maresca's gone.
I think they've had 7 players sent off this year.
Yeah, and the ref and the manager.
Caicedo banned again. I don't know how long he's out for, going around.
That took 4 minutes.
Yeah. So you're right. But we'll come to that in due course, because we had another Declan Rice brace. We had one against Real Madrid last year. 2 very similar goals, and again, 2 very similar goals again, created in part by the return to form of the Odegaard-Saka axis of beauty and ingenuity. That was a great goal, wasn't it?
It was lovely, and Odegaard seems back to how he was 18 months ago. Yeah. That spring in his step and decisiveness of decision just seems to be there. He's even getting shots off now. He's getting shots off quicker. He just seems, as we said on the last episode, that injury, that high ankle sprain, can take months and months and months to get over. And even when you are capable of playing, you're still not fully over it. So to see him back as he was, but Rice, he's got this knack. I mean, we know what he's like with his dead balls. He just guides things with pace into pockets when he shoots.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
The one against West Ham as well, that was guided in. I mean, hit hard, but guided into the top corner. It's just got such a technique of striking the ball.
That's my favourite type of long-range shot, the sort of outswinger, into-out, right-footed sweep into the top corner. I'm going to mention West Ham at the end of this in a minute, and you'll be pleased that I did.
Okay.
So yeah, but 3-1, it's game over. Sit down, because I've been pacing a lot during these games. So I thought I'd sit down, and no sooner as I got comfortable, got to get up again and be all angsty.
Now, what were your feelings about their goal? How did you feel at the time?
I thought Ray should have saved it at the time and on reflection as well.
My first thought was, I'm surprised. It's unusual for us to let someone travel with the ball like that. And I think we gave him a lot of space to get to a shooting opportunity, which isn't like us. No,
I think this is the cyclicality of football, though, that we've mentioned a few times, because shooting from outside the box, like long throws, has come back this year. And now my sort of bloke down the pub don't really know anything theory about this. This is not the theory that I want to launch with you. This is one that's just come to me. Is that the XG of shots outside the box was low, in part because it is anyway at a low percentage shot, but people used to close them down and make it harder to shoot, and that they would not want people to shoot from there. And I think the analysts have said, you know what, people shooting from outside the box, just let them shoot, right? It takes away the deflection, the goalkeeper's not unsighted, They very rarely go in anyway. Just let them shoot. And the cyclicality is now we've got professional footballers with loads of time. They can pick out the top corner, no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right with this. Everyone's defending deep inside the box. It seems like football was going for cutbacks type of thing, but high percentage chances within the box. So as you said, it's cyclical. Okay, so what's the other option? Let's start hitting it from outside the box. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think you could be right.
I used to think Arsene Wenger made a similar mistake about crosses. Right, crosses like high, like the winger going outside, beating the man and crossing it in, very low percentage chance. So Wenger never used to bother about, when like Clichy wasn't closing people down and Callum Chambers away at Swansea was getting ironed out by the winger. You think, why doesn't someone go and sit in front of Chambers for 10 minutes to stop him getting absolutely rinsed? And the reason is because Wenger said, well, that's not a
high percentage chance.
High percentage chance. But the thing is, if your fullback's getting beaten time after time, all right, each individual thing might be low, but 20 of them add up to an expected goal of 1. And that's what, and I think that's what happened on crosses, and that's what has happened with long range shooting. They're end of the sermon of data. I've got no actual data to back this up. It's just a feeling.
And then after their goal, I think Zubimendi really stepped up. I know it wasn't probably his best performance, but I think he really steps it up after they scored.
Well, they didn't have a shot, did they?
No.
That was the thing. Because even though I was watching it in terror, it was so through that lesson that Palace taught us. One late punt into the box, a knockdown, and the centre half running onto it sweeps in the equaliser. But it was only the potential of that. Like, that never actually materialised at all. He took Gyökeres off and brought Jesus on, and now Jesus, I thought, has done pretty well when he's come on in recent games. Didn't think he did so well. It just didn't work for him, did it?
No. He's, what was that, his third game since he's been back? Third or fourth? Yeah. And out of the 4 performances, that was easily his worst one. But he's contributed in the other 3, and he's coming back from a long injury.
Yeah. Just because the Gyökeres Defence League, EDL, as I just coined them, because we should be supporting our players. I've noted that when Gyökeres goes off and Jesus comes on, we are under a bit more pressure because the gravity has moved to the bench, and therefore the rest of the team is now released to go and put us under pressure.
Yeah, it does seem that way. It does seem that way. I don't know. I didn't see it so much in it when we weren't defending deeper, but I just think it could allow their defenders to push on that little bit further, where they haven't got that focal point pushing them back to deal with it. Again, I'm going to need a bigger sample size. If it continues to happen, then we're on to something.
I think we need to see it at the game, because we are actually 2 goals up or in the lead when this happens, and I think we sit back anyway. So it's not necessarily a causation thing; just might be a correlation thing. But it is a thing.
Yeah,
Victor Gyökeres is not scoring goals, but he is attracting half the team when he does get the ball, and when he goes off, we're under more pressure than we were when he.
It's true. It's the conundrum that is Gyökeres. It's let's see. But then we had what the media were trying to make the biggest talking point of the game: the final whistle.
Well, I think for all Chris Kavanagh's abuse that we've given him, richly deserved in my humble opinion, is that so there were 6 minutes, which seemed a bit toppy anyway, if you ask me. They got that throw, and that was over the 6 minutes. And do you know what I think the ref said to himself? I'm going to let them throw it in. As soon as it's cleared, I'll blow the whistle. That's what happened.
Yeah. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And they're all going, oh, well, you hadn't created anything in nearly half an hour. Magically, in that last 10 seconds, you knew you were going to score, did you? So do me a favour.
Well, he did get the ball in a dangerous position, but so what? It's the end of the game. Like, the game was, it wasn't like the whistle. It was over the time. You had your one last throw of the dice, and you fucked it up. Right? They could have thrown that short, and he would have let them cross it in, but they didn't. They launched it into the box. Big header away. That's it. That was your chance to get an equaliser. So I've got zero sympathy with that as well. Just like I had zero sympathy with Odegaard dicking about with it on the edge of their box at the end of the first half. There's absolutely no issue there whatsoever.
And the cherry on the icing on the cake was a lovely results across the league going our way.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like it. Villa won again, didn't they?
Yeah.
They're a bit annoying, but
I'm still not worried about Villa.
No, but the Chelsea, Sunderland. I thought Man City would. But Sunderland at home is going to be, or away rather, on their own patch is going to be a difficult game for anyone, and so it proved for Man City.
You've got to give them credit though; they've got a lot of players at the AFCON.
Yeah,
in seasons gone by, mentally. I'm saying that's a banker for City.
Yeah. I don't think there are away games. As I say, I don't think there are any bankers, and all teams, including us, are likely to drop points away from us because away games in the Premier League are fucking hard.
Yeah, and I wonder what tactically Pep's going to do to solve some of his problems. Oh, no, I know what he's going to do. He's going to spunk another £110 million.
What do you reckon? 60 million on Semenyo, 60 million on Mark Gay.
Yeah, I was reading a post this morning about an Arsenal fan who went, okay, I'll buy it, and then listed the players that they'd bought for 50, 60 million, didn't work after a year, and they'd replaced them with another thing. I think since April 2024, they've spent the thick end of £500 million, but we should be winning the league, or Arteta's sacked.
I know. Rumblings coming out of Man City. Maresca's basically this is his last season. Now, if that is the case, and
I'm rubbing my hands together.
That has always been a disaster, hasn't it? For anything. I think Ferguson did it a couple of times and it didn't work out, and some other manager. You need to be secretive about when you leave, otherwise the season is fucked.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that. I remember when Ferguson said he was going to leave, and then ultimately did a U-turn. But the players, I mean, you're talking about some of the greatest players that we'd seen. Okay, they weren't the force that they once were, but they still had, once that fear factor and they know the manager's going, whether it's subconscious or not, the levels drop.
Yeah.
The levels do drop.
I agree with that. So I think that might be handy if that is indeed the case. I want to test out a little theory about Arteta, a man who I love very dearly. I love his approach, except for one thing, which is, can he use his squad? Can he trust players that he appears to not trust? Eberechi Eze, for example, seems to be in some trust Siberia at the moment. Has he got another weakness, which is an overcorrection from the Arsene Wenger days? So Arsene Wenger famously did not care about what the other team did at all. Fabregas tells a story that before the European Cup final, I think they had half a training session thinking about what Barcelona might do, which... As the game has got more tactical, has become an utterly mad philosophy. But it worked for Wenger. And part of the reason why he didn't like doing it was he didn't want to put into the mind of the players that the other team were more dangerous than they actually were. And I think that works when the days of 4-4-2 and Vieira, etc. But as the game became more tactical, it just became less prepared. And that is why we got turned over so often in big games. Now, I do wonder whether Arteta has overcorrected. And because he said before the Brighton game, he said before the Wolves game, the Bournemouth game as well, about how hard he expected to be. Now, I know a lot of it is, for the press, but we do know he is obsessive about details. Is he over-preparing the players? And are they, in the back of their mind, too fearful about some of these teams who in practice are a bit shit?
I see the question I was going to pose to you sort of slots in nicely with this. I think it could be something else. Even if Arteta is so, minutely analysing the opposition, I think he's so in tune with the mentality of footballers. I don't think he's putting it to them in a negative way, like, oh, be careful. I think he's saying, look, this is what they can do. You know how to count. I think he's going, they're probably going to do this, but we are going to do this. I don't think he's going to be doing it in a negative way. My question to you is, we had that sticky patch. The way we seem, I feel we are attacking more freely now and with better numbers and playing a little bit more expansive. But is that coming at a cost of conceding one or two more goals here and there?
Maybe. I mean, because they weren't playing expansively against Wolves when they let in that equaliser. They were deep.
No.
They couldn't get hold of the ball.
So
there's that goal. Against Brighton, they weren't playing expansively. They
were
undone by basically Minty on the right-hand side cutting in. You would have thought they'd have plenty of practice defending that sort of thing. It took a great save from Raya. The Villa goal, garbage time bullshit. Who cares?
Yeah.
And the Bournemouth game was an individual error that was, you have to. It'll probably happen a few times a season. So the evidence suggests no. I don't know. I just think they dropped their form a little bit of tiredness, the injuries stacking up, the lack of a settled back four. And then as soon as Gabriel comes back in, everything seems to have got better.
Yeah.
Just a. That's no
one blip from him. Yeah. One blip from him, but that's.
Yeah, but structurally and the way that they've approached games seems to have changed within the team.
And then tomorrow night we have a juicy one.
Yeah, Liverpool. Now, we would have thought this might be a title decider in August. It absolutely is not.
They doth shit the bed.
Yeah, they're miles behind us. Somehow they're like in the top four, though. I don't know. Like,
I know.
Win a game for 2 months. I think it's just how tight the league is. And I think if you look, I think 4 points separate something like 4th and 14th or something like that. So a couple of games, you do knock a couple of points on the board. Everyone's been so inconsistent that you can go up the table a little bit with an half decent run. But they are a flawed team. But you know that version that got done 3-0 at home by Nottingham Forest that lets in 96th minute winners or equalisers rather at Fulham. That's not the team that's going to rock up tomorrow night. I'm sure of it.
No,
it'll be we're in the Champions League style. Raise your game. Don't get embarrassed.
And that's sure the question.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends.
We are better than them. There's so many. Their fullbacks are weak. Van Dijk, Father Time catches up with everybody. There's no shame in that. He was one of the great, a very, very good centre half. A little bit overinflated in my book, but that's another story. Their midfield, if we've got out Zubimendi and Rice out there, their central midfield doesn't scare us. Ekitike, according to their kit man, he might not, or is it their fitness guy who's taking him out of his fantasy team?
If you haven't seen this is a supposed member of the Liverpool physio department dropping Ekitike for this week's game game week in fantasy football. So who knows whether that could be the greatest elaborate bluff of all time, right?
And the old switcheroo, that could be amazing, yeah.
The old switcheroo. But do you know what? Liverpool are one of those teams that I think we owe a bit of a spanking to.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think we gave them too much respect at the beginning of the season. I don't think we knew the problems that they had. The approach with the information that we had was probably right, but in retrospect, it was a little bit too conservative. So hopefully we can undo that. And we seem to be. I don't think we got an injury from the game against Bournemouth, which might be the first time this year.
We haven't picked up another injury during a.
Yeah, the revolving door injury problem seems to have stopped for one game. I mean,
whisper it quietly. There's rumours Mascara could even be back, so we could be at full strength.
Full strength. Havertz come back. Who else? Calafiori needs to get
Calafiori, of course.
But that's still there is not enough space on that bench. Like players like Waneri are missing out the matchday squads entirely. When the other two are back, I wouldn't be surprised we don't see Norgard anywhere near the bench as well. Which is a shame. I think he's a good player, and hopefully he does feel as good about his role in the team as Arteta claims. But yeah, a full squad, and it gives you options to change games, and that is really, really important. I mean, if you think back to the Champions League semi-final away in Paris, who was on the bench compared to who they had on the bench.
And forget, irrespective of who we had on the bench, who we had on the pitch were running on fumes.
Yeah. You're exactly right. Now, part of the reason they were running on fumes, it is posited, is that we went too hard against Newcastle in the League Cup. So we got 3 cup games coming up, as the games are like Kyle Walker, thick and fast.
Yep.
So Portsmouth's massive rotation, right? We should be able to beat now. I know it's away. You put some decent players on the bench.
Get Vic Akers, get him playing. Stick him on the wing. I don't give a shit. We're good enough. Vic and his couple of acres is. We have enough depth in this squad. You know, international quality to put a heavily rotated side out and comfortably do Portsmouth. They are a flaky championship side.
Right, note it down, everyone. Anyway, we will be back way before then because we will be reviewing the Liverpool game, which, as we record this, is tomorrow night. So hopefully we'll give them the kind of spanking we deservedly gave Villa. That's my hope for it. Full strength team. Go full beans. 3-0 up at half time. Please, can Arsenal let me enjoy at least some of these games rather than watching it from behind the sofa? I just haven't got the stamina at the moment. It's really difficult for me.
Emotional bandwidth can't cope.
Emotional bandwidth cannot cope. Although we have got a bit of bandwidth between us and the rest of the teams at the moment. 6 points. Happy with that. And hopefully that concertina effect where they catch you up a little bit because they're a bit consistent when you have your blip and then you open it up again. I saw a guy at the gym today. He's 90 years old. He's a Brighton fan. We have a bit of banter around the old footy. Told him I'm a Brighton supporter tonight. No doubt about that.
Go on, you seagulls.
Okay. And on that note, we will see you later. See you later.
See ya. Bye.